Alright, so this is a top view of what you will need. We're going to do a quick video on the Royal Cootie Killing Tea. Just to point out what's here, we have 2 oranges, 2 lemons, and a lime. We have some fresh ginger. We have some bay leaf. We have some cayenne powder, some cinnamon, some garlic, and here we go. Let's get to it. The Royal Cootie Killing Tea. Alright, so my last video was a little too long, so I thought I'd redo this. Before I get started, I want you guys to see this is a clean, fresh dish scrubber. I use these to clean off the citrus before I cut them. So you know you've done it right when you're rinsing the citrus under the water and scrubbing at the same time, and you start to smell the citrus. That gets some of the wax off of the fruit. It also rinses it off at the same time. So what we're going to do is we got our 2-quart pot here. We're going to put water in that after we get everything in. And let's get started. So we're going to start with our 1 lime. Just gonna cut this. I like to cut all my citrus into 4s. So I'll cut it in half, and then I'll cut those halves in half, so there's eight pieces. And then after I cut the citrus, I just squeeze it into the pot. You can't really see the pot. Squeeze it into the pot here. Some of the pieces I like to leave whole because once the tea cooks down, it's so yummy to have some of the whole pieces of, especially the oranges, to chew, you know, to take the skin out of your tea, the piece, and just eat that inside of the orange after it's soaked up all the wonderful flavors of the tea. And then I also like to cut up sometimes pieces of the rind, like you see this little bump here. I'll cut that off and just put that in there. All that white meat inside the lemon peel will also soak up the essence of all the other herbs and spices like the garlic and the ginger and the cinnamon and the bay leaf. And I'll just tell you a little bit about the medicinal quality of all of these wonderful gems that we have going into our tea. So the lemon and the lime and the citrus, the orange, there's hydroxychloroquine in the peels. And that's a very well-known virus buster. It kills the cooties, right? So I'm just cutting up 2 lemons, a lime, and 2 oranges here. And like I said, you want to cut it in half and then cut each half in half. So you'll get like 8 quarters pieces from each piece of citrus that you cut. You're going to squeeze the juice of some of them into the pot, especially the lemons, unless you're a real big fan of eating lemon pulp once it's done. I like lemons, so sometimes I do leave some of the pieces of the lemons in whole also. But the oranges are just really magnificently yummy for this. Once the tea is done, it's in your cup, you're sipping on it, you come across a chunk of orange or lemon that still has the pulp in it and it's soaked up all that flavor, and it's been, you know, cooked down and just nice and comforting and healing. And I'm going to cut some of the skin off of this one. I find that when I use pieces of the skin, it gives an even more greater medicinal value to the tea. So cutting this pieces of skin off and just dumping some of the pieces like so, and like this, the peels, in also. And you're going to do the same thing with the oranges, the 2 oranges that we have left back there. Okay. So I came up with this cootie killing tea. I was already making it before the pandemic, but I really started making it for myself at home during the pandemic, and that's when I decided to add the bay leaf. Bay leaves are very high in zinc. In my last video I said it was magnesium, but it's actually zinc. And zinc is also great for protecting your system against viruses. So that's what the bay leaf in here is for. I'm just finishing cutting up the other half of my lime that I didn't put in yet. And I'm just trying to make this video like shorter than my last video and being way more specific about what's going into the tea. So you notice the limes, I'm squeezing each of them in there. This one I'm going to cut some of the skin off of also. The aroma is just wonderful. It's just great. It's so nice. I think I'm going to cut the skin off of this one too. I have another lime in my basket right there I could do. Alright, so there we go. We got some lime peels to go in there also, just so you can see what's in so far. That's the lemon, 2 lemons and a lime, peel and all. Now we're going to do the same thing with the oranges. Cut them in half. Cut those halves into quarters. So we have 8 pieces from each piece of fruit. So 4 from one half and 4 from the other. Now with the oranges, I usually just rip the meat out the middle like this. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll do that with some of the oranges if they're easy, if it's easy to come off. This orange isn't very easy. There we go. So I'll peel the meat off like this on some of the oranges and just put the skin in. When you can smell, so I'll do this with some of the oranges. I just peel off the meat. Sometimes I'll squeeze it in there too. And then I'll rip up the skin and put it in there also. Sometimes I just take a half, squeeze it in, and just drop the rest of that in there like that. So sometimes I'll peel the skin off. Whatever you can do to get that aromatic essence of the citrus more deeply into the tea, it's more effective medicinally. Okay, so there's some more orange. So that's half of one of our oranges. Trying to get this video done as quickly as possible while making myself one of the greatest batches of royal cootie killing tea. Cootie killing tea. So I'm gonna try to speed up here and not do so much. All right, some of these I just want to get the chunks in there and leave them whole, like I said, or don't squeeze out too much juice from them. That way when they're all done and they've soaked in the juice of the tea, the concoction, all that orange the essence of the garlic and the cinnamon and cayenne and ginger and all the other ingredients get soaked up into here. And when you get one in your cup and you want to eat it, it's just divine. I can't even describe it. You can feel the wonderfulness of all the ingredients going into your body when you leave some of them whole like this, and it'll make you want to like eat the whole orange peel, right? So I'm squeezing some more of this out of this piece, ripping some of that meat out. Last half. Trying to keep this video short, under 15 minutes, or at least 15 minutes. We've got about 4 minutes left. We can do it. All right, so here we go. Now all these things have been washed. Like I said, I scrubbed them in the beginning of the video. If you didn't see that, you can go back and watch. Ginger, just cutting up the ginger into slices here, right? Wonderful. And letting that soak up some of the juice from the orange that was on here. Getting that up. Ginger going inside. Oh, smells so good. All right, so we got some ginger. Should we put more ginger? Yeah, why not? Why not? This has all been pre-washed. The citrus I scrubbed with a clean, out of the package dish, like a little untreated, no soap or anything on it, just a simple Brillo pad. I scrubbed all of the citrus pieces with that. It gets the wax off and it brings out the oils of the citrus before you cut them. Now we got our bay leaves. This is our secret weapon, the zinc. So we're gonna just break these bay leaves off in here. Make sure you break them, because when you break them, it releases the oils that are trapped inside those dry leaves. So break those up. They'll soften somewhat from being boiled. You can put as many bay leaves as you want, right? I love bay leaves when I'm cooking, so I tend to put quite a few in there. You want to at least, I think, put 2. We got our cinnamon and our cayenne powder. We got some honey here that we're going to put in there, and water. Now we're going to put the garlic in. Garlic, garlic, garlic. Best way I know to do garlic, and you're going to leave the skin on and everything. The skin on garlic and onions are very good throat protection. They soothe and coat the throat once they are boiled and softened. They bring any sore throat discomfort ease. It eases that. So you want to leave the skin on. They become kind of like silky once they're boiled and made into a tea. All right, so I'm just taking the flat side of this knife, putting my garlic clove down on the counter, and smashing it like a hammer. All right, so there's that. And I probably did, oh, one of them flew away. I probably did about 6 cloves of garlic here. We're running short on time. All right, so there's the garlic. We got everything in there. I got a couple tablespoons or teaspoons of cinnamon and cayenne powder, so you can do that to taste, right? And honey, honey. Now I'm just going to switch places here. You should be within the 15 minutes. Put your honey in, raw organic honey, right? Raw organic honey. Now I was going to use bottled water, but normally what I just use is tap water. So if you want to use bottled water, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to reserve my bottled water for drinking just plain. So that's what everything looks like. Light a fire under that puppy. Put some water in here. Alright, I just filled the water up to the little buttons, the little silver handle buttons on the inside. We're still at 15 seconds, or 15 minutes, I'm sorry. Put your lid on. Let that boil, bring it to a rapid boil, and then let it simmer for 3 hours.